girls, and welcome to the third part of the Pincer Mania series. If you don't know what this is, we are basically here. I am the host. We got 3 people here, which I will introduce soon, but in general, it's 3 people talking about league topics and discussing, and I will rate the arguments, and they get points, and depending on winning and losing and stuff, and we have a winner at the end. Woo! So, a lot of arguments depending on league stuff. So, of course, we got 3 people from 3 different Pokemon leagues here. First up, we got Pierre R.I.Pierre from the GBC. Say hello.
What's going on, guys? R.I.Pierre.
There he is.
Hello.
Next up, we got the newly crowned champion of the PPL Season 2, none other than Shroomraver.
Spoilers, bruh!
Wow. Hello everyone, Shroomraver here.
I mean, it's official. Like he said, it was official. This video. I think it was one. But yeah, the spoiler screamer in the background. Participator in the TBU and coach of the Somerset Scissors. Was it right? I hope so.
You got it right, bro.
Scizorsome.
Hello, I'm Sizz, and I constantly have to fight the urge to talk about blowjobs.
That's the thing too. Like, this is not a PG episode anymore, but if
are we being PG? Sorry, I apologize. In that case, hi, I'm Sizz, and I constantly fight the urge to talk about bacon.
Bacon. Okay, I take that.
Actually, that was a blatant lie. I am a vegetarian, so I do not find it hard to not talk about bacon. So yeah, I'm just talking absolute shizzle.
You can you can wait on that since we're on the topic, and you can talk shizzle about your mon if you want to.
Yeah.
But okay, we can start right up with the first topic, which is best normal type in the league format. And starting up, Pierre, what is your topic, your pick, and yeah, why did you choose it?
Alright, so my pick was Megalopony. So I used to view Megalopony as like a one-trick pony type Pokemon. She hits hard and hits fast. However, dual typing, fighting, and normal plus Scrappy with high jump kick, the most powerful non-boosted return of frustration in the game aside from like Slacking and Regigigas. And coverage moves in the form of elemental punches in her pool. Devastating Pokemon in League format just like in standard tiers. However, in League format she can go above and beyond. Has access to both agility and baton pass, and is also the fastest non-scarfed healing wish user in the tier, or format, excuse me. On top of that, she also possesses Thunder Wave and Toxic, which can definitely make things easy on your team at any moment. Due to the amount of switches she has the ability to force out, even with just a standard set, can really free up a lot of options for you. And if you want to go this route, she also has Stab Quick Attack if you really need priority beyond Fake Out, perhaps to deal with damage scarfers that just don't want to stay in, but want to come back and challenge you unaware of what's going to happen to them. All this in mind, I think Megalopony is fairly straightforward, rather easy to use in my opinion, and doesn't really take a ton to be successful with, which is why she takes my top spot.
Wow, nice. That was a great introduction. And yeah, next up, Shroom. What is your pick and why?
Yeah, I've gone with Meloetta as my normal type choice. Massively specially bulky. Remains one of the few Serene Grace Pokemon that is not almost universally despised, which is always a nice thing. It's taking hits from anything specially offensive. I ran one calc which showed it has like a 94% chance to live Specs, Dark Pulse, Modest from a Hydreigon. And that won't be a 2-hit KO on that kind of chance. As well as that, with its psychic typing, it's one of the few normal types that isn't necessarily going to get bopped by fighting attacks. And speaking of fighting attacks, it's basically 2 Pokemon in one, because with the use of Relic Song, which also happens to be one of the few offensive moves that has a chance to put something to sleep, it can turn into that really nice normal fighting type, much like Megalopony. Tapping out at base 128 speed in that form, it's outspeeding a hell of a lot of things. It is hellishly quick, outspeeding so many things. Massive options there. The Assault Vest set, very difficult to take down. It can work as a cleric. It can get like charge beam boost. It can turn into a very, very potent attacker. And yeah, just insanely difficult to take down. Very annoying to deal with. Hits incredibly hard, even if it's not invested. That's either base 128 special attack in its normal form, or physical attack in its pirouette form. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on that. It's an offensive beast in both departments. Pretty quick, it's pretty bulky, and it can also be a cleric if you really need it to be.
Nice, the sneaky cleric. And on the Oh god damn it! I don't know where I want to get there. But yeah, next up, Scizorsome, what's your pick?
Well, that was quite the display from my learned opponents there, wasn't it? My opposition. I mean, we had Pierre expounding on the benefits of Lopunny by sexualizing Lopunny and calling it a she, trying to appeal to your base desires and sexualizing that gorgeous rabbit.
Like, whoa.
And then we have...
You can talk about the other... your counter arguments come later. First, we want to hear about your pick. But I like the spirit. Your spirit is there.
So, alright, let's cut the crap then, shall we? Let's cut the crap. Let's get to facts. We're talking about stats and we're talking about all these calcs. Let's just give it to you straight, shall we? I'm gonna lay it bare for you. We've got Heliolisk is quite clearly the best normal type in League format. I don't know how you can dispute that. I don't know how either of these two, as much as I respect their opinion, could debate that. Look at the coverage. Look at the coverage this thing gets. You name a type, this thing can probably hit you with it. It's got... Hello, can you say Switch Initiative? Oh, lots of ground types on your opponent's team? Or Volt Absorbers? Well, just run U-turn instead. Hello? And let's not even get started on the moves it has to deal with its switch-ins. We have got... Oh, ground types? Who gives a fuck? We got Grass Knot. I just said the F word. We're trying to be PG, aren't we? Oh, hold on a second. Oh, no. An electric type. It's going to probably paralyze me. Let's switch in a Mon that can't get paralyzed. Oh, well, eat this glare. How are you blocking a glare? You're not blocking a glare. That's 100% accurate. It don't give a monkeys if you're no ground type, bro. It's not... You're boned. You're paralyzed. And then if you want to get really tricky, you can use this thing to set up a screen. Are you kidding me? This thing sets up screens and has initiative and has one of the highest special attack stats in solar power. Hello? Can we just take a minute? Why are we even debating this? Incredible speed. Versatility. Screens? A fucking light screen? You've got glare, you've got coverage, you've even got Dragon Tail if you want to go that route, if you predict to switch into something. Dragon Tail out there, get some more rocks damage, happy days. It's got agility if you really want to go OTT and take out those Scarfers. What if your opponent in League format knows that a Scarfed Hydreigon is the key to destroying your team? Oh, sorry, how about we just set up an agility and then we outspeed everything ever? Screw your Scarfers, mate. Heliolisk, ladies and gentlemen, dry skin, water immunity, solar power, incredible attack boost. And if you're in a VGC league, hello, Sand Veil. Do I need to go on? I don't think I do. I don't stab hyper voice. Can we just concede that Heliolisk wins, please?
Okay, there is some much confidence in that pick. But okay, since you already started counter arguing versus the others, so yeah, can go ahead and tell us why the others are basically crap in comparison to Heliolisk.
Okay, so in my overzealousness, in my passion for Heliolisk, I got a bit carried away and did start tearing into my opponent's arguments somewhat a little bit early. Now, as I said, Pierre just felt the need for some reason to try and add, some kind of bikini to Lopunny, sexualizing Lopunny, trying to make you think of those big old furry double Ds. And
that, wait, that from a guy which added the sprite on the live stream so that the bag is showing?
Hey, now, I am just giving the people what they want. I don't condone it, but I will convey it. I mean, I'm all about making people happy. I didn't sexualize Lopunny, I just gave other people the opportunity to.
Okay, just want to note that. No harsh arguments on that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, from me, you had an argument of versatility, of different roles it can fill within a team, the coverage, the incredible abilities, the speed, the potential power. I mean, you set up a sunny day? You're in solar power? You've got specs on this thing? Not a sunny day with Heliolisk, you understand. That would be foolish with specs. But could you imagine the power? What would want to switch into one of those moves that didn't resist it and have incredible special bulk? Nothing. And then you've got Shroom talking about this. Oh, by the way, he only mentions one calc. The man who's relying on his statistics and knowledge to guide him. He can only provide us with one calc. At least I don't come to you, friends, purporting to be giving you all of these calcs and all this evidence and providing one calc? I'm telling you exactly why Heliolisk is amazing. I don't need to resort to numbers. I'm not going to condescend to you. I will give you the facts and you can figure out the numbers. I'm sure if I tell you this thing has coverage to take on any switch-in, this thing has versatility, you don't need me to tell you exactly why. You don't need me to say, oh, well, versus this Mon, it's going to do 70. You don't need that. I'm not going to patronize you. Now, I respect Shroom, I respect Pierre, but I don't appreciate the sexualism of a bunny, and I do not appreciate having your campaign based on facts, but only bringing one fact. I cannot abide this. And for this reason, and coupled with the obvious superiority of Heliolisk, there is only one way to vote. Thank you.
Okay, very nice. Shroom, what you got to counter that?
Intriguing. I mean, yeah, I only brought one calc with me, but I brought the only one that matters. I brought the strongest one. If I can live the hit that I said, I can live any hit. You want to talk about a switch-in to your precious Heliolisk? Meloetta is that switch-in to your precious Heliolisk. You want to talk about versatility? Meloetta is 2 Pokemon. You want to talk about versatility? Meloetta has it in spades. There is absolutely nothing that really wants to switch in on this Meloetta, and when you do, it might be too late. I might be a whole different Pokemon. How exactly is your precious Heliolisk going to deal with a Meloetta Pirouette form close combat? I'll tell you the answer to that, my friends, is it's not. It's not going to deal with it. It's going to drop. Meloetta takes on both of your picks and beats both of your picks with the greatest of ease. It doesn't fear anything that Heliolisk has to do to it at all. You can take your Specs solar power boosted moves and you can shove them somewhere. And as regarding your Mega Lopunny, I mean, it's not going to beat Meloetta though, is it? It is basically kind of a one-trick pony. Most people aren't going to be using it Baton Pass because they think it's much better in the role that it generally suits when they use it correctly and don't spam Fake Out, Sizz.
Well, this is why I didn't pick Mega Lopunny, you see.
No, Meloetta, and when it comes down to it, Meloetta takes on both of your picks and beats them. That's a fact for you, Sizz.
I mean,
Okay.
you have to factor in that there's a team. There's a team behind Heliolisk, and he's not going to stay in. He's not going to stay in. He's going to switch out of there with his many options to get out of there. Or, you know, if he's in the hands of a skilled player, so not me, he will glare you, and your Meloetta's precious, incredible speed will be gone.
Heal Bell.
Oh, I'm sorry, and then by that time we're out of there, and we've brought in a Mon to completely destroy Meloetta.
So you admit that your Heliolisk has to back out of taking on Meloetta because it's not good enough to?
No. What I'm saying is
Ah,
that
oh.
Heliolisk would never have to stay in because it would have its team behind it. And if it became down to a 1v1 situation, then I'm sure that whoever in League format was prepping with Heliolisk, if they thought that 1v1 with Meloetta was likely, I'm sure that one of the many super effective attacks we could levy against Meloetta would come to the front and he would get destroyed.
You have one, and it's Dark Pulse.
Well,
Okay, I have to step in here because I think Pierre has the right to say something too about why Mega Lopunny is better than the other two. So, Pierre, go ahead.
All right, so first I'm gonna talk about Heliolisk because Scizor came from my life like that. But basically, if you want to talk no switches, Lopunny has literally possibly won. It with Scrappy return high jump kick is actually stronger than what either of you has to offer at the moment. And Drew was also talking about how Meloetta beats Lopunny one-on-one, but that's if they're both out and Meloetta has no prior damage. Meloetta can't switch in on Lopunny. I mean, yeah, Lopunny can't switch in either, but you're talking about switching in general. And as far as Heliolisk goes, I feel like it's I'm gonna go ahead and say none of these mons are bad by any means, normal types, but as far as Heliolisk goes, I just feel like it's not incredibly strong. I just feel like it doesn't do, from my experience, it hasn't done a ton of damage. It doesn't do tons of damage. I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be Volt Switch out, or it does have tons of coverage moves, but I just feel like it doesn't do tons of damage, especially without specs. It's just not strong enough, in my opinion. Meloetta is incredibly versatile, yes, but it does get hit really hard on the physical side, and you can't really switch in. That is my opinion.
Okay, nice. These are the counter arguments. So I would now start the last round to give us the last arguments you have to give to us, and the viewers, of course. And yeah, let's start with Shroom on this one because he didn't have the right to start so far.
This is just like a sort of overarching summary kind of deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Meloetta is 2 Pokemon in 1. Very difficult to prep for. Difficult to take down, except, as you say, on the physical side. This is true. Every Pokemon, as I'm sure everyone would admit, has their faults. No Pokemon is, of course, perfect. Yeah, Meloetta has massive coverage, enormous power on both sides depending on what you're running. Huge utility abilities. The ability to power up in both of its stats whilst also causing damage. That is offensive stats, I should say. And yeah, it's just gonna destroy teams with the fact that it can switch up forms.
Okay, Scizorsome, your last words on Heliolisk.
Okay, so we've got Shroom coming at us with this whole 1v1 situation, but you see, this is a very narrow-minded view. This is a very narrow-minded view because in a league format, it's going to be very rare that you're going to be forced into a 1v1 situation. I mean, what, is your Meloetta going to be trapping Heliolisk in, Megalopony in? I don't think so. We're talking about what Pokemon is best in league format, which means adaptability, which means mind games, which means potential. You know, maybe, yeah, sure, if you put a normal type against a fighting type 1v1, of course it's not going to go well. Of course it's not going to go well, but that doesn't mean that is how it's going to go down. Heliolisk is going to be stuck in against one of those other two Mon? I don't think so. That's not what's one of the defining characteristics, is that it can have that initiative. Oh, and as for your, you've only got one super effective attack, you were expounding upon Pirouette form and how marvelous it is, the fighting normal type that gets hit super effective by fighting type moves, as in Focus Blast. Hello. Can we just take a minute here? So, variety of options, you know? And who doesn't pack on an offensive Heliolisk? Who doesn't pack Focus Blast? Come on now. As for Megalopony, okay. Now again, where exactly has it been said that Megalopony and Heliolisk would ever have to be facing off 1v1? I'm talking about team synergy here, and on the right team with this synergy. No. Nothing is stopping Heliolisk's momentum and its ability to play mind games, because hello, you bring in something that can take this thing down, and then suddenly it's glared. And then if you want to be ballsy, you set up a light screen, you know? Or you can just Volt Switch the hell out of there, or you can U-turn out of there. Even bring this thing in on a setup sweeper or some kind of super defensive Mon. You can drag into it. It's got toxic, everything's got toxic, but it works really well on this thing. You've got T-Wave.
Oh wow, your mic is currently dying, it seems.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike. Stay with me, bro. Stay with me. We're about to win here. And this, as for this thing not having power, I really must have missed the memo where base 109 special attack wasn't power. I mean, what game am I playing here? I must be on Digimon or something where base 109 special attack it's for some reason rubbish. But no, base 109 special attack is more than admirable, especially with the potential for boosts, either from passing from a team member, from, I don't know, Specs, Life Orb, Solar Power, a combination. Don't tell me this thing doesn't have the power to punch holes in teams. If it's not encumbered by Specs and it has some kind of boost, it has Solar Power, no. Not very few things are going to switch in comfortably to this thing. So that is why this point goes to us, goes to Heliolisk, and this is why my opponents unfortunately don't have a leg to stand on. Thank you.
Okay, Pierre, your last shot at defending Lopunny.
Alright, well, I don't really have a ton more to say. Already mentioned the fact that she has the coverage in the elemental punches, she has high jump kick, powerful returns or frustrations. As far as that Heliolisk goes, I wasn't necessarily saying that it was weak. I was just saying, I wasn't saying it was like incredibly weak or like unusable 109 special attack. I was just saying that from my experience, it just doesn't do enough, in my opinion. I feel like it could do more. But going back to Megalopony, definitely has the ability to do other things as well. I didn't list like Encore, other things like that. It's definitely fast enough to do that. Also has Heal Bell in its kit if you want to do that. But yeah, use it for what it is. It definitely hits really hard, and she also has the abilities to do other things as well, with Agility, Baton Pass, of course, Substitute, having the fastest Healing Wish, things like that. That's it.
Okay, nice. So after this round, I will have to have a duty to pick a winner out of this, which is not really easy. Like, Scizorsome definitely stepped the game up with all his passion defending Heliolisk and stuff. I like that a lot. It's true, Meloetta, like, both of you couldn't counter the argument that Meloetta is essential to Mons. Like, I would have liked like someone stepping on that, like using Relic Song, you have to use Relic Song and stuff, and you would have to run a physical Meloetta and you have to have one special move to get it into a physical form, so it's definitely one move spot lost.
True.
No one made this argument, so I can't count that in.
That's true. That was a failing on our part, definitely.
Indeed.
And yeah, Mega Lopunny, it is the one-trick pony. Nobody can basically deny it. I mean, of course, there are some like fancy movesets with Healing Wish, Encore, Agility, Baton Pass and stuff. But yeah, the fast sweeper with fake out is just so good and so tempting. You're probably not using any of the other things. So yeah, picking a winner out of these, it's.
Well, I think as soon as you had nothing bad to say about Heliolisk there, then I think we have a clear winner.
I mean, it's really difficult. Like I'm debating between Heliolisk and Meloetta here. So let's get my assistants in here. Pierre, who would you choose between the two?
Meloetta. Just because of not because of like personal bias, but because of the.
Yeah, okay. I want to say no personal bias here. I know you love Meloetta.
Yeah, but just because, yeah, his argument was definitely solid. He really didn't have any counter from either of us, and the fact that we forgot to bring up that he needs to have Relic Song, just shows that. Yeah, he definitely had the best argument in my opinion.
I can definitely agree on that. Like, Sis, I very much loved your passion on this, but like in the first part, you only like counter it how they argue and not their arguments.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah, I give this point to Meloetta and Shroom.
Hey.
First point for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Not bad.
First one over. I liked it a lot. Definitely like Pierre, Shroom, nothing is lost. We have 3 rounds in total. Still for everyone the chance to win this whole thing. So let's get up with round 2, which is the best low tier hazard remover in League format. Low tier means in that UU and below. So no OU hazard remover, of course no Ubers, because I don't know of any Ubers League around so far. Maybe there's one I don't know about, I'm sorry for that. But yeah, UU and below, smoke and tears, which one is the best hazard remover? And we start with Sis. Why? Yeah, who did you pick and why?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I've picked the only sensible option in the form of Tentacruel. I'm sure you don't really need me, really, to go into Tentacruel's awesome abilities. But shall we start off with Liquid Ooze? Now, what do you think Liquid Ooze is? Liquid Ooze is a counter to healing. Offensive healing. That's what it is. Your opponent likes to use draining moves? No more, my friend. Because one of your walls is just going to destroy any hope of a draining move being popped off. Leech Seed? Screw yourself. Giga Drain? Screw yourself. Draining Punch? Just go away. Just leave this place. So no healing outside of things like Wish and Recover and things like that. No offensive healing, and that is a big deal, in my opinion. Then we have Rain Dish. Can we talk about the base 120 special defense for a second? Base 120 special defense, base 80 HP, nothing to laugh at, especially from a lower tiered, rapid spinning wall. Now, we've got Rain Dish, giving it extra healing. So we've got Rain Dish healing, we've got Black Sludge healing. When is Tentacruel taking damage? When is it taking damage? Excuse me. So, we've got the ability to prevent your opponent from offensively healing. We have got incredible recovery, not to mention that for Rain Dish to be active, a Rain Dance must be up. So your Scalds are getting boosted. So you're firing off Scalds, you're fishing for that burn, but you're doing so by doing some hefty damage for a wall. So we've got a wall that can prevent offensive healing. We've got a wall that can boost in combination with Rain Dance, has additional healing on top of its bulk and its item, and a boosted Scald. Can we just take a second to appreciate how incredible that is? It also has access to Toxic Spikes. I'm sure I don't need to expound upon how important Toxic Spikes can be, especially if you're playing some bulky-ass stalled player. Toxic Spikes with a Mon that just won't die, especially under Rain Dance? Yes, please. And of course there is the access to Rapid Spin, a very important move, and it's hard to argue against Rapid Spin being the best hazard removal move. It is more useful by orders of magnitude than Defog. And I don't mean Steve, it's an expression. So we've got the ability to reset stat changes in the form of Haze. So you bring your bulky Mon in against the Mon setting up, and you haze it away. Goodbye. And then if it's a setup Mon that has Drain Punch, not uncommon, it has no hopes of draining that energy away. Excuse me. And then, if there are no steel types knocking about, you've got Acid Spray. So even if your opponent tries to switch in one of their bulky-ass Mon, as long as it doesn't resist water, you Acid Spray that bitch, you Scald him, you're going to win 1v1. If it comes down to wall versus wall, unless it is immune to Acid Spray, you're probably going to win. Let's be honest here. And then you could always, go down some sort of crazy swords dance route if you wanted to be the offensive. It doesn't have the worst attack stat in the world. If you surprise your opponent, if your opponent is for some reason weak to the stab combination of poison and water, or even just one of those, it's got the bulk to pull up a swords dance surprise set. I'm not saying that it's something that would commonly see usage, but it's just another option. It has knockoff, especially defensive wall with knockoff. Amazing! Magic coat! How many times have you been in a situation where you are wall versus wall and you're just spamming rapid spin, stealth rocks, and they're doing the same and it's just so boring? Well, hello, Magic Coat. How you doing, old friend? Excuse me? I don't really think I need to go on. Tell me how this is not the best lower tier hazard remover. And if you fancy being a bit funny, if you know that you're going out of the league, if you know that you suck and you've lost, despite having the amazing mon that is Tentacruel, you can bring Tickle. You can just bring Tickle. You can lower attack and defense, and everybody's having a good time. And I rest my case on that. And I don't know how there can be a counter argument to the amazingness that is Tentacruel. Thank you.
Okay, very nice. Okay, next up, trying to prove that that's another good hazard remover in the lower tiers. Pierre, let's hear your thoughts on your pick. Why is it here? Why did you pick it? Let's go.
All right, so I chose Crobat. Now, Crobat has the ability to do a lot of things that some other hazard removers can't. It has a usable 90 based attack, pretty decent typing both offensively and defensively in Flying Poison, and has two good abilities in Inner Focus and Infiltrator. Inner Focus, of course, being able to keep you from getting the fake out flinches or waterfall flinch. Anything that can flinch will not flinch you, and you can go ahead and attack in return or do what you want that turn. And of course, Infiltrator, allowing Crobat's Brave Birds, Toxic, Super Fangs, whatever, to go through opposing substitutes, which is a great thing in general, but especially in league formats where quite literally almost anything is possible. You couple this with fantastic speed, access to recovery, good HP, decent defenses which allow it to take hits, and you've got a really good hazard remover. You look through its moveset, of course, I mentioned Brave Bird, Toxic. Super Fang is incredibly important because of the fact that it puts any mon down to half as they switch in, or if you can take a hit from them, put them at half. Basically, any mon that doesn't have the recovery to get itself back up is then, what's the word? It can't really switch in as often, especially if you've got Stealth Rocks on the field. It definitely puts a lot of pressure on other teams. It also has Haze if necessary, if you want to go that way, because of the fact that there are a good amount of setup mons around, and if Crobat can come in, take a hit, and get off at Haze, can come in later on, possibly roost off that damage, and it's just really important. Also has Pursuit if you want to go that route, but in all honesty, it's a poison type. It's not really going to be finding many options to pursue, maybe some ghost types, but it is an option. It does have that ability, and it does have, I have to mention it just because it's in the kit, it does have Nasty Flight if you want to surprise people that way, but that's really just for fun. Later down the line, you've got Giga Drain, you've got Heat Wave, all that good stuff, and then you also got the Acrobatic set if you want to go down that road. But putting all of these things together does make it a good offensive defogger. I do feel like it's the best hazard remover in a lower tier. It isn't one-dimensional by any means and can do a lot of different things. So that's me.
Very nice. That's Crobat. Okay, Shroom, as last but definitely not least, what was your pick in the lower tier?
Okay, excuse me. Wow, bit of a frog in my throat there. I have gone with a Pokemon that has actually only recently sort of come down to this kind of topic. It's only recently come down to UU, and that is going to be Zapdos. I've gone with Zapdos as my defogger. Now, obviously, this is going to be a lot more similar to Crobat than it is to Tentacruel, but obviously, we'll get onto that later. Zapdos, incredibly bulky with 90, 85, 90 in defenses. It's of course, defogger, not spinner. Nice offensive defogger. Hitting base 100 speed, it's pretty quick, it's a very powerful special attacker, and it's not only defog that it can do. A nice offensive set can be very, very useful. It's got so many different forms of initiative gaining. It gets U-turn if you really want to do it. Volt Switch is of course its main form, but it does also get Baton Pass. Use that in conjunction with the likes of Agility, maybe a cheeky Charge Beam, pass those kind of boosts off. And if you really want to get risky with it, gets both Ancient Power and Ominous Wind. So you can be passing all of the stat boosts around. It's got nice coverage, of course, electric stab. It doesn't get actually all that much in the form of flying attacks, but if you want to go physical with the base 90 that it's packing, Drill Peck is very much a viable option, would we say, perhaps? Gets the likes of extra sensory, heat wave, very nice on it as well. Light screen is something that it can do too. And of course, nice reliable recovery as ever in the form of Roost. Tailwind, lovely option to have that on there as well. It's a very effective toxic staller with the bulk that it's got. Yeah, Zapdos, there's a reason it was up in OU. It's just moved down to UU not so long ago. It belongs in the higher tiers, it's down in the lowers, and it can do a massively good job in this kind of format. It's regularly picked very early on in drafts, and it can also set up Sandstorm and Sunny Day and Rain Dance, so it can do so many different weather options.
Okay, nice. We got the Velvet Zapdos as the third pick, and yeah, we can go back to this. Like, why are Crobat and Zapdos inferior to your Jellyfish Tentacruel?
This is gonna be good.
So believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to keep this brief because I don't need to say too much in relation to why Tentacruel is infinitely better than Crobat and Zapdos. Let's see here, shall we? Now, I completely disagreed with Shroom's approach on the last argument of comparing the Mon 1v1s. That's not how it works in League format. But if we were to do that, 1v1, although Zapdos does have an edge, can we just say Ice Beam, please? For both of them. Can we just take a moment? But disregarding that completely, because as I say, that's not a good way to base your argument in this sort of context, I don't think. Let's look at Crobat and Zapdos. They are two Mon that, as I've already touched on, only have access to the inferior hazard removal move. They both have access to defog, so if you want to set up your own hazards, well, you're screwed, really, because there's not really much point. It's incredibly hard to pull off a defog. It's much better on a team that doesn't rely on hazards. Secondly, both of them expound upon their recovery. They claim that Roost is some godsend. All it takes is a semi-skilled player with Earthquake, and both of whom, by the way, Zapdos and Crobat, both weak to Earthquake, so the minute they Roost and get predicted, they're basically getting one-shot. Let's be honest here. Can we just take a minute to appreciate that? Again, as I touched upon, they're both flying types, which means they are both weak to the most prominent and effective hazard in the game. They are both weak to Stealth Rocks. How? Please explain to me how Mon, that their only recovery leaves them open to their greatest weakness. Explain to me how a Mon that only has access to the inferior hazard removal move, and a Mon that's it's unbelievable. And for God's sake, Crobat's a poison type that can't even absorb toxic spikes. There is no contest. A Mon like Tentacruel that has access to Rapid Spin, the superior hazard removal. A Mon that is not weak to Stealth Rocks. A Mon that has decent recovery that doesn't leave it open to its greatest weakness. No, I'm sorry, but there is no competition here. I look forward to my opponent's counter-arguments, but really, there is no actual counter-argument. So enjoy the show, ladies and gentlemen. My opponents are going to try and cobble some... They're going to be putting on their best politician pants right now and spinning you a yarn, but I think we can all agree there is no better lower tier hazard removal than Tentacruel. This is me being brief.
Thanks for being brief, sis. Yeah. Let us hear the show. I'll give you a try on countering that.
Okay. All right, so we look at Tentacruel, right? So you're talking about how Rapid Spin is the superior, what you said, is the superior version of hazard removal, but you are forgetting about the fact that you are spin blocked by ghost types. Now, yeah, you can deal with some of them, especially you have knockoff, whatever, but they can still hurt you quite a bit before anything happens to you. You also lack completely reliable recovery. You do have, of course, Rain Dish if rain is up, if that's what your team is going to go for. But you do, well, one thing you also lack is physical defense. You talk about how if we Roost and an earthquake comes our way, we're done for. If an earthquake comes your way in general, you're done for. And then as far as Zapdos goes, yeah, I don't really have a counter for Zapdos. It's just, I really don't. Besides, because my Mon has the same issues that he does. But going back for
so you admit that it has issues.
Don't...
Ah, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, but I also pointed out Tentacle's issues before that.
Oh, I'm gonna call him
Multiple. Exactly. This has the fact that we're weak to Stealth Rock, yeah, but that's the majority of the defoggers that are around, and a lot of them are used effectively, and I feel that Tentacruel just down there doesn't have the type of recovery we do, and yeah, Liquid Ooze is a cool ability, but if they're not used offing moves, then it really doesn't have a ton of use, or Leech Seed. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
Okay, let's go, Shroom. Give us your show on why Zapdos better than Tentacruel and Crobat.
Okay, well, Scissors actually made a very good point when he said that maybe talking about 1v1 situations in this format isn't really the best way to go, but you know what, for the record, once again, Zapdos does take on both of them perfectly well and beats them, so, you know, there's that to start off with. Tentacruel is easily the worst of the three, and I'll tell you for why. Pierre has very nicely talked about how an entire type can block your entire spinning strategy, so there's that. Let's just take a look at the hazards that are on offer. We've got Stealth Rock, we've got Spikes, Toxic Spikes, and Sticky Web. Now, of course, none of these three are affected by Toxic Spikes, and that's a bit of a non-entity. The flying types, they're affected by rocks, and they're affected by none of the others. Tentacruel is affected by all of the others. It gets slowed down by Sticky Web, it takes Spikes damage. You want to talk about Tentacruel's reliable recovery? Like what? Giga Drain? It doesn't have an instant recovery move along the lines of Roost, which of course Zapdos, and admittedly Crobat, they both have that. I'm very thankful that at no point did you pick up on Mirror Coat, which would have been nice, but you didn't, so what are we going to do?
I actually did mention Mirror Coat.
Oh, did you? Oh, I thought you said Magic Coat.
I heard Magic Coat. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Oh, yep.
Oh
right.
dear. Oh dear, sis. Oh dear.
Okay,
Oh,
he's
my.
got this. Yeah, okay.
That's less than ideal for you, isn't it?
Yep.
As far as Crobat goes, again, it's a defogger much like Zapdos, but unlike Zapdos, Crobat is completely crippled by both burn and paralysis. Zapdos doesn't particularly care about burn, and it's unaffected by paralysis on account of being an electric type. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, Zapdos takes them both on. It's both Zapdos and Crobat are infinitely better than Tentacruel, and Zapdos is just a better option than Crobat. It's got even more of an option to support the team by going for the likes of Thunder Wave, Tailwind, Agility Pass, all this kind of stuff, and Light Screen as well.
Okay, do I hear that right? That basically you and Pierre are teaming up versus Sis here?
No, it's just happened to work out very nicely that way.
I think that just goes to show. I think it just goes to show who the threat is, and that they feel the need to combine forces against me. Just kind of shows who the correct choice is as the winner of this round.
And clearly not Tentacruel.
It definitely looked like looking at your arguments, but yeah, okay. Now we go for the first try to talk. Last ditch effort. Why is Tentacruel still better than the other two?
Okay, so I didn't actually touch upon something that Shroom said in his first exposition, and that was one of the virtues of Zapdos is that it's just dropped down from OU. It used to be OU, but there's that word. It used to be OU. Funny that. So, now, I believe it was Pierre that said, you talked about, Roost leaving you weak to Earthquake, but what about Tentacruel already being weak to Earthquake? Yeah, but the difference being that as flying types, usually, aren't they quite a prominent switch in to Earthquake? Don't you want to switch in flyer types to Earthquake so you don't get hit by the Earthquake? Isn't that something that's quite strategically optimal? But who wants to leave their Tentacruel in on an Earthquake? Who does that? Who would leave their Tentacruel? Well, yeah, I might, but nobody's sensible. Nobody's sensible to do that. At all. What sensible human being would leave their Tentacruel in on an Earthquake? Well, not me. And even I wouldn't do that. And that is really, really saying something. So we've got Zapdos no longer OU, so that's not really used as a benefit. As for Ghost types completely blocking Spin, that doesn't stop it from being an integral part of a strategy that relies on your own hazards. With a mixture of Toxic Spikes, the ability to absorb your opponent's Toxic Spikes, spin away any other hazards, and not, by the way, Shroom, caring about having its speed lowered, really, let's be honest. Bit of a moot point. Then I fail to see how it's being blocked by Ghost types is much of an issue. If you're blocked by Ghost types and you're relying heavily on setting up or removing hazards, then you've got something to deal with Ghost types in the bench. You've got something backed up there, ready to deal with whatever Ghost type your opponent has. It's not a point. I'm sorry, but saying that this move is beaten by this type, okay, but we're talking about League format. That type is prepared for. And I'm sorry, but most Ghost types also happen to be specially offensive. Tentacruel is specially defensive. What, are you bringing your, what's that thing? You know, the thing with the big mouth on its stomach? Dust Noir? Yeah? You bringing Dust Noir? No, you're not. You're not bringing Dust Noir in. You bring Dust Noir in, then I'll bring my Dust Noir counter in. The Ghost type doesn't bother us. Doesn't bother Tentacruel. Doesn't bother Camp Tentacruel. I don't accept that as a refutal of Rapid Spin's effectiveness. I did in not mentioning Miracle, but thank you for giving me that tool to use.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I like to help
Before.
those who are going to be less used to, less able to win these kind of things.
Is that why you like to use Zapdos over Tentacruel?
Yeah.
I understand now. I understand now.
Oh, he admitted.
Oh,
See, so we've had both of my opponents, I think, admitting the weaknesses of their Mon, and I haven't admitted any weaknesses of Tentacruels because he doesn't have any in this role. He is the superior hazard remover with the superior hazard removal move in a format where you can easily prepare for Ghost types. Not weak to the most prominent effective hazard, doesn't care about webs. It is just superior in every conceivable way. And what's another thing I refute is my opponents, and Pierre is especially guilty of this, saying, well, if your opponent doesn't have this and this isn't useful, well, quite right. But you'd only bring the things to a battle that you think are going to be the most useful, and luckily with League format you have time to prepare for what is most likely. So if I don't think my opponent's going to have Drain Punch, Leech Seed, all that stuff, I'm not going to bring Liquid Ooze. Completely a moot point. And this all, if the rain is up thing, if rain is a big part of your recovery strategy, then you're going to build on it. You won't have to rely on rain, but I think we've seen people pull off rain on a non-rain team numerous times in League format. It's effective. Not necessarily in my hands, but in skilled hands, yeah. So, so the argument that blah isn't effective against blah, not really a point. The point is, what is the superior in its own right and in League format? And I think that I've proved, without a shadow of a doubt, that Tentacruel is Tentacool. Thank you.
Oh
my God.
Sis,
no.
that
Oh,
was
that
bad.
gave
was
some extra
terrible.
points. That gave some extra points. Okay, Pierre. Last words on Crobat.
All right. One thing I forgot to mention with Crobat mainly was the fact that as U-turn able to give momentum, something that Tentacruel does not have. What was I talking about? I talked about its abilities already. Infiltrator and Inner Focus being very useful throughout League format, and just in general, great Mon. It has Taunt, very fast Taunt as well. I did mention Toxic, Whirlwind if you want to go that way, and also has Tailwind, which is very good support for the rest of the team. As you mentioned that my Pokemon didn't have as great support for the rest of the team, Scizor. So that is something good for me. That's really all I wanted to pick on. Yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. That's all I really had left to say. Thank you.
Okay, nice. Shroom, you can go on Zapdos if you want.
Okay, Zapdos has more useful mixed bulk than the other two. It has more useful mixed offenses to use instantly without boosts than the other two. It has more utility for the team with Baton Pass and boosts. And it has more options to go with status against Pokemon. And it is not bothered as much by statuses from other Pokemon. Done.
Okay, nice. That was quick. Okay, and we are back at me again for choosing one for this round. And first of all, I have to agree that Rapid Spin is the superior hazard removal option. Of course, it can be blocked by ghosts and stuff, but in general, like Defog is of course safer option, but it gets rid of your own hazard, so you usually don't want that. That may be just my opinion. Maybe the viewers will disagree, but in my opinion, Rapid Spin is the superior hazard removal option. That's why Starmie and etc. will go most likely before all the defoggers around.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, Crobat and Zapdos are like difficult to compare or easy to compare. Let's say that they are both defoggers. They can both go offensive. Zapdos would have the edge on that, in my opinion. Like, it was a pretty good pick. I didn't even remember that Zapdos dropped to Yu. I think the other two looked over that too in the picking phase. So I think Zapdos would have the edge there, but the Tentacool thing, and that you both kind of teamed up with him. I feel with Scizorsome. I get the point to you.
Thank you, Pincer Bro. Thank you.
That's a round for him, Pincer brother.
It was the pun that did it, wasn't it? It was.
It was fun. It was like fans wins arguments. You
Puns
should
win
all know
arguments.
I was gonna say,
Okay,
that you guys may as well bow out now then, really.
Sir, do you not know who you're facing
We have
here?
1 round left.
that. No, last round left. Nothing is even decided yet. If Pierre should win this round, we would end up with a overall tie and would end up in the speed round. And yeah, if Shroom or Scizorsome win, we just have we have a winner. So nothing is really decided yet. Of course, Shroom and Sis have the edge here, but nothing lost for Pierre yet. Okay, so let us start with round 2, which is
3.
the best Mon with the ability Regenerator in the league format. And we start with Pierre so far, we start with Sis so far. Low, Shroom, give us a pick.
Okay, I have gone with Tornadus Therian. Really easy choice for me to make. This is just a mon that I hate facing in the format. It is so unbelievably threatening. It's incredibly quick. Hits base 121 speed. It's got very, very useful mixed offenses. It's one of those mons that you don't know what it's going to do often until it's started doing it, by which time it's often too late. Nice mono flying type is fairly interesting. The only one to have that type, I believe, other than its other form, which is cool. Massive move pool, enormous. You've got utility in the form of U-turn, utility in getting initiative in the form of U-turn. Knockoff is always nice because knockoff spam. We all know it, we all love it, we all hate facing it. Nice special offense in the way of Hurricane, stuff like Heat Wave, Grass Knot if you really want to go that way. Interesting option in the form of Acrobatics, can really power up its already powerful stab. It can set up too, you know, it's a very, very useful bulk up user. It's got a very fast taunt, it's got a very fast tailwind, and yeah, it can set up agilities to get it even faster. Mixed offenses, what more do I really need to say? It's so difficult to prepare for. It's a monster offensively. Massive options to hit so many things, so many different ways. It's just one of the most powerful threats going, often overlooked, but if you do, it'll massively cost you. It also happens to be one of the best Assault Vest users going if you don't want to go the route of bulk up or agility or something like that. You don't want to choice it into any kind of move. Yeah, it can go with a very, very useful Assault Vest set, tanking hits all day, every day, and you turn out, get the Regenerator, which of course we can all do because we're talking about Regenerator, and yeah, get itself set up to come back in and cause even more damage to an opponent's entire team.
Okay, nice. That is the thread named Tornadus T. And Sis, what was your choice on that topic? Hit us up.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have Mian Xiao, an incredible Regenerator user. I don't think that can be denied at the very least, but is it the best? Is it the best in format? I say yes. The reason that I say yes is that whilst there are, as Shroomy has quite rightly said, other Regenerator users that can be offensive as opposed to the far more common defensive Regenerator mon, like Among Us and Reuniclus and other such devils, this thing is a true offensive beast. Now, shall we talk about U-turn? Shroom wanted to talk about U-turn. Okay, so that's all well and good. This mon right here has 3 very effective uses for Regenerator. U-turn is probably the worst of the 3. Great for initiative in some situations. But now, picture this. U-turn initiative giving you Regenerator recovery, great. On top of that, we have what is the most potent and terrifying fighting mon move? What is the one in the arsenal that is the most scary that you pray your opponent hasn't brung because it's so damn risky? High jump kick. And the reason it's still risky is because of the insane damage you can do to yourself if you miss. Can we take a minute to appreciate that this is a mon with an incredibly powerful stab high jump kick that can afford to take the damage. It can take the hit, it can U-turn out and recover most of that back. With its incredible 105 speed, by the way, which in League format, not too bad. Many mixed tier mon from all sorts of tiers, all sorts of speed tiers as well, especially in the more restrictive League formats like the Battle Union, plug, where you do see a lot of lower tier mon. 105 speed is going to be outspeeding a whole buttload of things. You're going to get that U-turn off. You're going to get a high jump kick followed by another move off. You're going to get those 2-hit KOs on Twitch hits. And if you miss the high jump kick, you don't care. You can regenerate that all back. You know, maybe what, 10, 15%? 17%, I think, left to recover. Oh wow, 17% damage. Well, next time you get the opportunity to come in, just come in and you turn out, and there you go. You've got all of your health back. Or high jump kick again, and then you turn out, and you still don't really care because you've only got like 30% damage overall. And you've got off high jump kicks, or at least scared your opponent with the high jump kicks. How many switches are you going to force? If you can fire off high jump kicks with more recklessness than potentially any other fighting type, that's a terrifying thought. Now let's talk about versatility. Versatility is key in League format. With offensive mon like this, with access to Regenerator, the ability to be versatile is incredibly important. Now, I'm not saying that it's a common decision, but it is an option to go for a specially defensive set. Or especially offensive even, I do apologise. Especially offensive set. This thing has Aura Sphere, this thing has Calm Mind. It can afford to set up, switch out and recover and try again if for some reason it's set up. Right, have you ever been in a situation where you're setting up boosts because you think you're safe? Then your opponent will bring out their counter plan to your potential. You know, they think, oh yeah, this guy's going to set up with one of his mon. Let's make sure we've got something to stop that. They taunt you. All right, fine. You switch out, you get your health back, you try again another time. No harm done. Not a problem. Then we have knockoff. I don't need to tell you about knockoff. Again, Torna decides knockoff, but can we take a minute to appreciate that knockoff plus high jump kick? What wants to... No, not a lot really wants to come in on that, does it? Let's be honest here. And as I said, this thing has the potential to be especially offensive. It has 95 base special attack. That means that if you want to, if you feel there is a situation whereby you would benefit from a hidden power of a specific type. I mean, how many times have we seen that surprise hidden power ice on a mon you wouldn't normally expect because the trainer is expecting a Landorus to come in and it's picked up the Oko? Can we take a minute to appreciate the potential there? Base 95 special attack on a predominantly physical attacker is nothing to scoff at, especially with the preparation involved in League format. You can prepare, pack the right hidden power, boom. What's going to take a super effective surprise hidden power and then a high jump kick? Or a knockoff? Even walls aren't going to appreciate that. So, when you say to me, which mon is the best in the format with Regenerator, I say it's the mon with the potential to set up nicely. And if that goes wrong, you switch out. It's the mon that has the potential to run so many items and catch so many different types of team constructions off balance. Who's to say a Specs Mien Shao wouldn't be something that'd be super effective against your opponent? It could run that. Base 95. It's not too bad. With Specs and Surprise Factor? Hello. Aura Sphere? Well, yeah. Then we've got, like I say, the hidden powers. Knock off. High jump kick. Calm mind. Bulk up. We've got the potential for brick break. Hello. You like screens? You're like, no, not anymore you don't. Goodbye screens. Baton pass to pass those boosts. How about a baton passer that can recover health through Regenerator? How does that look? Oh no, my opponent's setting up bulk ups. What am I going to do? Oh, I know, I'll switch him on to punch it in the face. Oh no, loads of HP is gone. I've been punched in the face. What am I going to do? How about a baton pass my boost to the next mon and get loads of HP back at the same time? Can you say terror? How about a Mien Shao that sets up shit tons of bulk ups, then your opponent switches in a counter, but it's eaten a +2 high jump kick at this stage, and then it U-turns out of there and gets most of its health back. Or it baton passes the boost and gets most of its health back. Poison jab for fairies. Low kick for heavies. Again, there is no argument. The superior taunt. It has taunt itself. I completely neglected taunt. Somebody wants to sit up in this thing's face? No, goodbye. Get taunted. Toxic U-turn. It's all there. Guys, superior, the winner, decided. Try and argue if you like. I respect your opinion. Or let's not forget power-up punch, just in case you want to be cheap. Thank you.
Okay, there you got Mien Shao, the heavy type counter. Yeah.
Can I just say I had to mute
boy.
my mic for a little bit there because I was laughing too much.
Yeah, go ahead. Good luck
Alright.
countering that.
Yeah. Whew. Okay. Amoonguss. That's what I chose. Amoonguss. Alright. Amoonguss is an interesting mon. High HP stat. These only decent defenses. Now, of course, only 30 speed and 85 offenses is usable, but it's not fantastic. However, it has a pretty good defensive typing, allowing it to be neutral to ground, resistant to electric fairy and fighting, which are all very common within League format. Also, if you couple its defenses with that 114 HP stat and regenerator, you have a mon that can be relatively difficult to take down, especially if you don't have anything that can deal with it one-on-one well, like something that can 2-hit KO it and force it out. Where was I? On top of that, it also has Synthesis and Giga Drain to keep itself relatively healthy if necessary, and if it needs to stay in if you want it to do that. And its Sludge Bombs can also take some chunks from teams that and mons that aren't really prepared for it. Now, here's where it switches up. It's a wonderful utility mon. It can stop opposing setups with Clear Smog while also being able to take a hit from them in most cases, as long as you haven't let them get too far out of hand. It also has access to a 100% sleep move in Spore, which can stop an opponent's momentum, putting a crucial mon out of commission, or forcing them out into something as fodder. And in League format especially, all 6 mons on the team are more than likely always going to have something to do, especially early game when it hasn't had that chance, and removing them for a few turns makes it very difficult on them and easier on you. Now, couple that with the fact that it also has foul play, which particularly on physically defensive variants can be deadly, because it takes a hit from a strong opposing mon and does huge damage, if not outright KOing the other mon in return, then just switches back and it switches out and gets back a third of its health and repeats that same process later on. And of course, you've got your hidden power of choice if you want to do that, like any special mon in League format, or some physical, because they like to do that from time to time. It's quite annoying, but Amoonguss is a solid mon, and I do believe it is the best regenerator in League format.
Okay, nice. So, now we heard all choices, so let's get up with a round countering all these arguments. And we start with Shroom, so let's hear your thoughts. Why are Mienshao and Amoonguss inferior to your Tornadus team?
Okay, well, let's start this off just to needle Sizz a little bit more.
Oh, do you love a good needling?
You do love a good needling, so let's just start this off with that argument that he loves to hate, because once again, for the 3rd time out of 3, Tornadus T does 1v1 these 2 Pokemon and beat them. Let's be honest about that.
That's basically how he picked his mon.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, basically, I was just like, what can beat these ones? Well, it's this. Now, Mienshao, horrifically frail. It gets OHKO'd by Tail Whip, because it's so frail. Sizz, you've been a little bit cheeky with this round, haven't you, my friend? Because whilst the question was indeed best mon in the format with Regenerator, and you said indeed that with Regenerator you can afford to be a little bit more reckless with Mienshao, which is ironic given that reckless is the ability that most people use on it. Regenerator is not its most to make the most of it. It's much better with reckless, and I should say at this point, of course, that it is a good mon. This is actually a difficult round because all 3, I think we'd agree, are very, very good mons at what they do. Amoonguss, I don't know. Amoonguss is just a little bit of a momentum killer, really. Mienshao itself, along with Tornadus T, does have that ability to gain momentum with the U-turn if it's an unfortunate matchup. Tornadus does it better because it's Tornadus, and it's better. And Mienshao, as we know, is very powerful. Amoonguss can be pretty darn bulky. Tornadus Therian is both of those things, which the other 2 don't have. Amoonguss is weak, and Mienshao is incredibly frail. Tornadus is neither of those things. It is strong, it is bulky, it can supplement that very nicely with its bulk up moves or its Assault Vest, and that just makes it better than the other 2. It does what they do in terms of power and bulk, but it does them at the same time, which can be said for neither Mienshao or Amoonguss.
Okay, nice. Okay, Sis. Now a chance. Why is
I've got
Mienshao
to say,
superior to the other 2?
Very, very disappointed in both my opponents to resort to not only insulting the intelligence of the viewers, but of insulting the opponent's Pokemon, of going so low that they feel the need to throw base insults at a Pokemon instead of counter arguments with facts. And Pierre insulted the audience in that he's trying to say that Spore is the best selling point of Amoonguss. Oh, Spore's this amazing momentum gainer. Now, excuse me, but again, League format. Grass types, safety goggles. Hello, Heal Bell, Aromatherapy. All tools that can and are often packed to counter Spore. easily. I've seen Spore be useless in many, many league battles for precisely that reason. So not really the biggest selling point. And as Shroom touched upon, it's incredibly weak offensively, and it is a very, very poor sufferer of one-trick pony syndrome. So Amoonguss, I feel, is the least viable regenerator mon out of the three. Now, as for Shroom, as I touched upon, he based his counter-argument on two main things. Firstly, on a premise that he already admitted was poor, on the idea that these mon that he has picked can beat our picks 1v1. He later admitted more than once that this was a poor way to pick his mon. So how can you have faith in his picks if his method is flawed? I personally couldn't, and you shouldn't either. Now, on top of that, he felt the need to insult the Mian Xiao by saying it can get KO'd by Tail Whip. Now, again, I am all for a good pun, but that's not a good pun. On top of that, it's a little bit, I've got to say, poor for a person respected in the Pokemon community, for a champion, to be resorting to that kind of thing instead of the man with the facts here, the man with the damage calc coming at us with insults instead of facts is just shameful. I've got to say, I am disappointed in both of them, and I must say that it's going to take a while for me to start being able to trust these guys again as battlers and trainers with that type of attitude. So, as I said before, this mon Mian Xiao is the best user of a generator in League format because. Let's talk about setup options. It has three viable setup options. The ability to pass those options and recover. It has knockoff, a fantastic move to completely cripple certain strategies. It has fake out if it's so desired. It has the ability to gain momentum. It has taunt to shut down other setup mon. It has power up punch if it wants to offensively set up. Poison jab for fairies. There aren't many safe things that switch in to poison jab, knockoff, and high jump kick. Really? Are there? And then you can pack that hidden power if you think that there's one mon your opponent can bring into that combination of moves, then you can power it in the face, and it's down. Tell me where you will find that level of versatility in a regenerator mon. Yes, it does not have the best defenses in the world, but these mon are not being valued for what they are themselves, but for what they can bring to a team. This is the important factor I feel my opponents haven't been focusing on. And on a team with the versatility, setup options, regenerator, and offensive capabilities that Mian Xiao has, I don't think that it can be argued that it is the best, well, it is not the best regenerator user in League format. My opponent's arguments, I feel, have been refuted and in some cases weakened by their own actions. There is only one decision to make, friends, and I think we know what it is. And I hope that all of you watching right now will be commenting here, please pick Sis. It's the right decision, you know? Come on, El Sis, do this. Pick the pick. Bro, I hope you guys feel the same way, because if not, then my faith in logic and reason and what is right will just be shaken. Do the right thing. Vote the argument that's true, that brings facts, and doesn't feel the need to insult your intelligence by claiming Spore to be as pivotal as it has been claimed to be, and doesn't insult the viewers by thinking they will pander to such base insulting of your opponent's mon Shroom. You guys have, I'm sorry, you've let down the format of debate, and that reason alone, I feel I should be evicted. I digress. I will leave it up to our glorious judge to make the final decision.
Okay, Matt is on the line. Sis is not only the arguments on the line, but his faith too. So yeah, what are your words?
All right, so things he touched on. You made some really good points. The fact that there are grass types and there is heal bell and aromatherapy and all that stuff around. But what I was mainly talking about with Spore, I wasn't saying that it's the combination of the things it can do are its selling point. I wasn't saying Spore was its 100% the biggest selling point to it. Now, the fact that, okay, go back a little bit. As far as you said with Heal Bell and aromatherapy, that is a momentum killer because of the fact that something was put to sleep, which means that you now have to account for that thing being asleep, and then you now have to go into either the thing that can heal bell it, either you have to choose when to do it, and that already breaks your momentum. You're not really, you're not 100% with what you were going to do in the first place. It's an annoyance. That's what I would say. And like, I understand what you were saying as far as you're getting at, but the fact that Amoonguss also does beat other grass types one-on-one when they come in to try to take that spore. I mean, yes, they could also switch out, but that is part of the reason that it in general, it's mere presence can kill momentum. And I feel that, well, I can't really say anything about one-on-one matches between ours because it really doesn't make much sense, especially in this case where Shroom beats both of us because of Tornadus T. But I feel like Amoonguss is a great utility mon, has the ability to stop setups, and I just feel it's better. And the fact that Mian Xiao is very strong, I understand that. It has the ability to set up, but I just feel like the defensive power of Amoonguss is greater. I feel Mian Xiao can do a lot of things well. Tornadus T does a lot of things well. It does have U-turn, of course, with Regenerator, and it hits really hard from the special side. It has stab, hurricanes, and all that good stuff, heat wave. But I just feel like Amoonguss's utility is superior. Just that, in the fact that it is that annoyance, it is there, and because of its bulk, it has the ability to just basically switch up the opponent's game. You have to play around it.
Okay, nice. Now we had all the counter arguments starting into the last round of basically arguments, debates, stuff, whatever you want to call it. Shroom, your last words on 20ST, or even the other mons if you want to talk about something.
Okay, well, first off, I would like to thank my two learned colleagues and opponents here for using the argument countering round to not actually counter any of the arguments I made about Tornadus. That was very nice of you. Tornadus is bulkier than either of them. It's more powerful than either of them. It 1v1s both of them, as I said. And Ciz, my man, my friend, my good buddy Ciz, saying that Tail Whip knocks out Mian Xiao, that wasn't a pun. That was an over-exaggeration of Mian Xiao's frailty and weakness. If I was going to say a pun, I would say that, as far as it comes to other teams and my pick, they will be torn apart.
There it is.
That's exactly the response I was looking for.
Okay, I guess you want to end it on the pun, so Sis, your last words on Mian Xiao or the other two?
Okay, so there's not much I can say now that I haven't said before. It's obvious who the superior picks are in all three rounds. I think the very fact that my opponents here have tried to justify their picks by lying on many occasions about I mean, there was this talk of Spore being this momentum. As I say, preparation is key, and a skilled player will prepare for Spore. Yes, it will make you have to use Heal Bell or Aromatherapy if it lands. But that doesn't mean you have to use it straight away. You can work it into your strategy to bring your bulky mon in on, say you've got a Clefable, you bring that in on, I don't know, some lame-ass still Weedle or some shit, I don't know. Well, what are the kids using these days in League format? Now, so you bring Clefable in, there you go. You bring Clefable in against a mon that it's got an advantage against, it's got a type advantage against, or it can just weather those hits for days. Say you've already got a Scald Burn, Paralysis, you can heal all of those at once. I'm not saying you have to do it straight away. Okay, and very often you won't sack them on to sleep that you can't afford to be without them, for a few turns at least. So you've got time. So if you do manage to fall victim to Spore, I'm just saying that it's not exactly as crippling as it's been made out to seem. And then of course there was the sexualization of Lopunny, just sensationalism, trying to score points with our horny young host here, and I don't appreciate that kind of base appealing to sexual desire. We had Shroom, who claims that his Tail Whip incident wasn't his attempt at derisive humor. It wasn't some kind of pun to try and conceptually enfeeble Mian Xiao. Well, all I'm going to say is those that have to Mian shout the loudest are usually the ones with the least to say.
Oh, God.
Oh, well played.
Okay. He won
Well
that. He won the pun round for
round.
sure. Okay, no, not be so fast. Pierre has still a chance to give us a better play.
Oh, it's what am I supposed to do with Amoongus? Hello? Uh, but yeah, I really don't have anything beyond what I've already said so far. I think it's a great utility mon on any team, a great regenerator. Sis brought up some great points. The fact that you don't have to use it immediately. What I was saying in general is that the fact that you're, I'm going to say forced because, like you said, you don't have to use it straight away. But the fact that you have to use it at all at any one point, it does give your opponent kind of a free turn in that case, and just thinking about it that way. But I can agree with him on that. I don't really have anything else to say beyond what I have already said towards my opponent's mons and my own. So yeah.
Okay, so the word is up to me again, and yeah, like I said, Sis won the pun game, but I have to, I think I have to, like, what you call it, rate the arguments higher than the pun game. It's definitely it's definitely a valid point, which comes into account if the other thing is close. But yeah, like argument-wise, Shrew made a good point, which were actually true. Like neither of you could counter that Tornadus, or neither tried to counter at least that Tornadus is bulkier and stronger than the other two. Mianshao, of course, he has the fancy special set, but like I have yet to see a Calm Minding Mianshao in a league battle.
One day.
The offensive, yeah, Pierre, you heard it. So, and yeah, Amoongus, of course, is the bulkier choice. Spore is a very threatening thing. The opponent has to prepare for it. I was kind of missing like the argument that alone the fact that the opponent has to prepare for Spore, like giving him on safety goggles or sub or taunt or something like this, is already a crippling factor that you don't even have to bring Amoongus, and it still has taken effect on the opponent's team. But yeah, in this round, it's not only because it's the best mon of the three in my opinion, but I think the arguments were the best. I have to get the second point to Shroom on this round with Tornadus T. Oh yeah, friendly claps. I like it.
Yeah, friendly claps. Yeah.
Okay, whoa, this means we have the champion of the Pincer Mania 3, which is Shroomraver. Not only champion of PBL, but this Pincer Mania 2.
2 championships in 1 week, man. Good job.
I mean, yeah, thanks for everyone being here. Thanks to Sis, thanks to Pierre, thanks to Shroom. I will leave all their channel links in the description. They are all in the league, like I already said. So if you are a fan of league play, definitely check their channels out. They're all pretty competent in what they do. Or at least they think they're pretty competent or whatever.
He only put that disclaimer in because of me.
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
I'm sure Shroom can.
Well, no further questions.
But okay, I hope to all viewers you enjoyed what you saw. If you do, leave a like, comment, subscribe. You know the end of my videos. And yeah, any last words from any of you?
No, just, thanks for having us on. It's been an absolute blast.
Definitely not blowjobs.
I concur.
There it is. The bacon was lost. The blowjobs are here. But okay, that's all from me. I will see you next time. Bye. Ciao.
Bye bye.
Later.